For the next couple of days, I am going to be sharing with you a nugget around some strategies that you can go into, especially in the rent to rent section. And you can jump on to do a rent to rent contract with anyone else. And with this, you can be putting back on your table. Right. I know that for a lot of people, property could be that excitement. I know that property could be a vehicle that you want for financial freedom. I know that property, but it can be also be a little bit daunting in the beginning. So within this video here, what I'm going to share with you is how you can get into the game with less money or potentially no money at all, and whilst making some money for yourself. But above all, whilst you are learning whether this is something that you want to do or not. And I'm going to share all of this under the banner of rent to rent. Just consider this as a prezi from me to you. All right. So let's talk about it. We all like to have our hairdos. I like to have mine. I am fortunate that, my wife does my hair. It's a bit of quality time for me and her. While she cuts my hair, I'm like, yeah, baby, this looks all cool. But we have all been to a salon before. We've all been to a barbershop before. I want to give you a strategy that I have seen 4 of my boys deploying, and this works very well. So I'm just going to give you an example here. Let's assume that you know of a retail space, all right? Wherever it is, you know of a retail space. Then you go and hire this retail space. Whether it is a big space or small space, it doesn't really matter. What you now need to figure out is that how many chairs and desks or can you fit in there? So tables, kind of like where the barber or the hair technician, I think they're called, where they can actually have their place to work from. Now, once you have done that, you can identify a place. It can be like maybe a 6x4. So it basically means that, on this side they are working, on this side they are working, and you got a whole meters going down the street here, and at the back, I've seen a lot of barbershops like those ones or hair salons like that. And at the back, you go somewhere where you can wash, all right? Now, this rent-to-rent option, the way it works is that you can go and rent out the place. When you go and rent out the place, what shop this is, potentially you want it to be in a high trafficked area. So that's one of the conditions that you need here. So in a high trafficked area like this one, you rent it for, let's say, for 10,000 Rand. Okay. So you rent it for 10,000 Rand, and out of it, you put your name or your company at stake here. This is a business. You want to see whether this is something that's going to work or not for you. On top of that, what you're going to do is that you're going to kit up the place so that it is uniform. So you buy a chair, you can buy a chair, I don't know, maybe 5,000 Rand. I don't know what kind of chairs you need in a barbershop, but you do the homework there. I have seen in some other hair salons, the chairs are looking like some office chairs. So, it just depends on the clientele that you're looking for. On top of that, what you then need to be doing is that obviously there's a bit of reno that needs to happen in that shop, which is not a lot. You can maybe spend, let's just say 100,000, depending on the barber or on the salon that we're talking about. So all in all, you're now in for 110, 120,000, okay? We're assuming that 100,000 renovation, 10,000 Rand for rent, and another 10,000 Rand for your deposit. As a commercial, potentially they would want you to pay for rates and taxes. So obviously you might need to have that as well. And on top of that, you might also need to insure whatever that you've put in the shop, right? And then you hire an administrator or a cashier who is going to collect money in the front. Now, are you going to run the saloon now? Not necessarily so. And this is where it becomes interesting. And this is where I have seen most of my boys making the buck. Now, what they go on to do is that, let's assume they've got on each side round about 6 people, or should I say 6 chairs going that side and another 6 chairs going that side. So that makes it 12 in total. Out of the 12 chairs that they now have with a mirror in front of it, they hire out each seat. I said that right. They hire each seat for how much? They can potentially hire it out for maybe 3,000 Rand, for maybe 5,000 Rand. It doesn't really matter, okay? And this here, 3,000, let's just say 5,000, right? Because what I had, depending, my average was kind of like 4,000. So out of this now, what now needs to happen is a customer will walk in, and as they walk in, they will say, I'm here for Tabo. Tabo is the barber. And how much are you going to charge? Ding, 100 Rand for my haircut. I don't know how much a haircut is these days. And then they go in, they sit in the chair. From sitting in the chair, Tabo is doing his business. He's got a cashier and, all of the things that now needs to happen, the towels and the what. And then Tabo brings in his kit, right, to service his client. And out of that, Tabo leaves his workstation like that. I've actually seen an instance where actually someone else have just hired the entire 6 chairs to a team of his people that he will hire out. But let's not complicate it. Let's just leave it at 5,000 Rand a chair. So which then means that if you multiply 5,000 on one side times 6, that's an odd 30,000. If you multiply again on the other side, that's an odd another 30,000. Collectively in this shop, you are making 6,000, but you are renting this place for how much? 60,000. You are renting this place out for 10,000 Rand. Yeah? Oh, TJ, does this really happen? Where are you going to find such kind of deals, TJ? Well, go and check them out. It's a strategy that I'm saying I've seen some of my boys doing, and it's working. In some cases, what they also do is that they go on to split water. In some cases, what I've also seen is that they will have a kitchen at the back, and they will have food that is shared amongst everyone. I've seen many models around this. The bottom line is, in hairdressing, there is good money. So you can put Jack's Hair Salon up in there on the top. At the bottom, you own the brand, yeah? But each shop, in each shop and on each chair, someone else actually is owning, or should I say is renting that space from you. And they have there's plenty of things that you can now throw in there. I'm hoping that this makes sense. And if you have seen anyone else who's doing this, drop me some comments in here to say you have seen so and so. I'd like to meet them and how they do it. Potentially we can all learn from them. But I got some of my boys who are doing this, and yes, it is working. You can make a little bit of money from it. This is the strategy of rent to rent. It's a quick in and out. What happens if you're no longer interested in it? You can sell it. It's now a brand. Okay, that's number one. Number two, you can close it, right, if you've made your money. Or number three, you can pass it on to whoever becomes a strong person within the people that are renting out from you. Now, why would you want to do this? The reason why you want to do this is that entry into the game is very minimum. You see, we spoke about just below 200,000, right? You can literally get into a partnership with someone, or you can just do it yourself, right? Entry into the game is very low. And you can also exit if you are not wanting to get into the game anymore. So your risk here is less, right? Potentially you could be risk-free if you do your homework very well by advertising to as many barbers as you can, and you can all bring them together, line it up nicely. They can pay deposit to you that you can pass on to your landlord and all of those things. I'm hoping that this is something that is exciting to you, and this is something that's been educational to you. And if it is, I know you potentially be one of the 6 people that statistically have not subscribed. And if that's you, hit that button and hit the subscription button. And don't forget to turn on the notification so that when we go live, you get to hear this. Don't forget to watch out any other videos that are like this for your knowledge to increase. Yeah, my name is TJ. It's great hanging out with you. Cheers. Check you out on the next video.